Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Today's just going to be one of our little weekend chats. This isn't about the food. I guess what I can say is I'm going to drop a little bit of old man wisdom on you today. Something you have, well, now sometimes some people pick it up a little bit earlier in life, but for some of us it takes a while. For the last 5 years of my life or so, I've really slowed down and I stop and I pay attention to things around me a lot more than I ever used to in my life. And sometimes I'll just it's very powerful, like just to stop in the middle of whatever you're doing and just break anything simple down. Like sometimes it can just be me walking and stopping to look at some flowers, or just to stop and look at something that's a very pretty shade that occurs in nature naturally, but um, or just stopping to take a breath. What else? What else? Taking time out of my day to enjoy hanging out with the doggy here on the property. Just the little things in life. With all we're all a lot of us are on social media a good part of the time in this day and age, and we get a little bit of a glimpse, a little insight into people's lives. And what I see all the time is just like this mad dash, this rat race, just kind of like hanging on for dear life, trying to survive, and not really grasping life, not really taking any time out of life to really live. Now, let me exclude from that. I understand I'm not talking about people out there that are truly fighting their asses off to survive day to day. Because when you're trying to survive day to day, truly survive day to day, yeah, that's what it's about. And you just got to do what you got to do to get to keep a roof over your head, to feed yourself, feed your family, and whatever. But even in those circumstances, I think there's always little things we can do to pull ourselves out of the day to day that we get caught up in, and just experience, enjoy, live this life a little bit. But for a lot of people, it's not about surviving. People, like, I don't understand why anybody would, of their own choosing, would make this life for themselves, where they're just like, they're going to a job 5 days a week that they hate. A lot of times they're sitting in traffic, they have to commute there. Whether it's kids activities, besides work, you're getting kids to activities. There's all these different events that are going on. And I see some people that are just like, basically, they slide into the weekend, get one day of rest, and then just start it all over again, because then by Sunday they're already obsessing, thinking about the next week, preparing for the next week. And wow, that's just chaos. I couldn't even imagine like doing that, because the purpose, like, I guess what I'd want to know is, what is the purpose of all that busyness, all that activity, just to survive? And a lot of times it's paying for stuff, all that running around. And people will get like, oh well, but I have to do this and blah blah blah. Well, that most people have just been kind of conditioned to do that. And most people, if they really analyze their situation, they're not running around like like mad people all week long, week in, week out, year in, year out, always being tired, not ever getting enough sleep, not having time to eat properly. And it's not for survival, it's for paying for stuff. It's for paying for that house that's like probably bigger than you need. It's probably for paying for some of those toys, the 2 and 3 cars in the driveway. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just trying to point out that, maybe if you got a lot of stuff and you got no time, you could sit and evaluate priorities a little bit differently. I started thinking about a little bit of the aspects of this talk actually when I was back in the States. Had plenty of time to do some thinking and just reflect on things, and just my mind's I'm not as focused on the day to day when I'm back there. And I don't know, I just got started thinking about time, and also I'm back, where I grew up. So it kind of takes you back in time a little bit. And I just started thinking, like, how fast it goes, and how people do not really realize this, especially some of you younger set. I was 20 just like that. I mean, I turned around. I was 20. I looked in the mirror. I was 20. I turned around, and I'm a 50-something-year-old man. And it really, when you start going back, you're like, wow. I went to my 30-year high school reunion a few years ago, and just immediately seeing a few faces, I'm like, that went by really quickly. And the real slap in the face was that next 30 years, I'll be 80 something years old. So yeah, it goes by super fast, and we need to really pay attention and appreciate the moments as they're happening, because we all get kind of caught up in big events in life, whether they be milestones, whether they be birthdays, weddings, some big event you're looking forward to in the future, a vacation, and we look for these big things, the big milestones, the markers in our lives. And when we really look at it, the bulk of life, 99% of life, is actually happening between these big events. 99% of life is that just day to day, sometimes what people would consider mundane. The little things in life, reading your kid a story every night. That's life. That's not all exciting. That's not as exciting as taking the photos at your kid's big first birthday party, or it's not as exciting as, okay, I'm walking my daughter down the aisle tomorrow, which are all like important things and are all things to celebrate. But you can't get too focused up on those big dates and those big events and those big life happenings. The bulk of life happens in between. The bulk of life happens in those little everyday interactions we have with our surroundings, with other people, and with what have you. So I just try to it's kind of a practice of mindfulness. It kind of goes back to mindfulness and living in the now, always trying to come back to the now. So that's also too kind of a continuing meditation of mine. I'm kind of retooling my meditation practice after many years of just flip-flopping and being consistent for a little while and kind of doing it willy-nilly and meditating at whatever time. I'm kind of setting a practice now. I meditate in the mornings. I meditate. I don't necessarily fanatic about as soon as my eyes open before I do anything, blah, 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 I go meditate. But, shortly after waking up a little bit, maybe reading some news, kind of just drinking something or eating something small, I like to kind of get that going, because it kind of, it sets the day for me, and it kind of reminds me for the whole day. It sets something that reminds me during the day to just kind of, from time to time, kind of step back a little bit and pay attention. I live on the grounds are beautiful here. They're nothing, special as far as being unique, because everything's green down here, but I can just walk all over the place and see different colored flowers, different shades. Oh God, there's probably 20, 30, 40 different shades of green here. I've got the dog here all day. I stop, I take time out to make sure and love on her a little bit and give her some attention and just enjoy her company. And yeah, it just kind of sets that tone for the day, and it sets my mind to remember to kind of to just slow down, tune out from the technology and social media and all that kind of stuff, and just appreciate what's around me. A lot of the breath, in the meditation, I do a lot of meditation work or different type of techniques where you're always going back to the breath, and the breath is a good anchor to bring you back to the here and now. So sometimes that's a good little effective tool too. It's just to stop whatever you're doing, and most people can do this. It's just to stop whatever you're doing you can do it for less than a minute. Stand up, take a stretch, just look around you. Take in details. I like to just look around whether I'm inside or outside. Sometimes it's not a natural setting, but I just like to take in details. I think it's a good exercise for the brain to be very aware of everything. It's too easy for us to bury our heads in this social media and our computers or whatever, and just kind of everything's kind of blurry, kind of fuzzy. We're not noticing anything, like the details around us. So yeah, just more than anything, just pay attention to life, because I'm telling you, that 30 years, it'll go by just like that, and you'll realize, just like I did, a lot of times we don't know that the best times of our, like, we're in the best times of our life, but we don't know they're the best times of our life until much later on. Have you ever done that before? Have you ever like thought back to a time, a person, an event, and at the time it seemed rather mundane, just everyday, whatever. And then later, maybe it was immediately, maybe it was years later, reflecting back, you remembered that that was like a special moment in life, or that was an important moment in life, and that was one of the best memories of your life. But we don't tend to notice those things while they're happening, especially if they're not some big event. Like I say, yeah, we notice the birthday parties, we notice the weddings, we notice these big events that that are more, I don't know, I keep trying to come up with a word, not necessarily milestones, but I guess just big events. That's what I'll have to leave it at. But look back, think about some of the most important memories you have in your life, and they were probably they came on a Tuesday night. Your kid said something, your kid did something, or said something, or passed, or they passed some milestone. Maybe they walked for the first time. You never knew that was going to happen. Or they said their first word. You never knew that was going to happen. So on a Tuesday night, in February, when it's cold, not a special time of year, nothing special going on, but that was in a special event. And all those things are happening around us all the time, all day, every day. We just have to open our eyes, pay attention, be aware, and tune in to what is around us, and slow down a little bit. Slow down and pay attention before it's too late, because none of this running around, I guarantee you won't get to the end and say, man, I wish I'd have run around just a little bit more, or wow, that was a lot of fun running around. Take the time to live now. Life's short. Grab it, squeeze as much out of it as possible, and that will be all from the Crazy Old Man today. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this weekend message. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Hope you guys will subscribe and come back for more. Just hit that subscribe button, click on the bell, and send notifications to stay subscribed to the channel. And hope you guys are having a great weekend. Love you lots. Peace.